Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming in. Looks like right now we've got Jeff Weinstein and Jessica Hoerman available, and I'm Nick Rishwain. I'm the Vice President of Client Relations and Development for Experts.com, and this is a post-social media marketing world blab meetup for those of us in the legal community who were at Social Media Marketing World but didn't get a chance to meet everybody. I met some of the folks who are here and I didn't meet others. So I wanted us to all sort of get together, talk about your practice, where you're located, and see how we can collaborate and sort of help each other. Since we are in social media and legal industry, basically leaders in this area because there aren't a great deal of attorneys who are using social media. So I want to see how those of us in this sort of leadership role can help each other keep building socially. So the plan will be, I've got about 5 questions for each person that I bring into a seat. So that they can tell us about where they're located, their practice specialty, where you're most active on social media, where you need to improve, how you can help improve, and how we can help each other to advance our practices and businesses and so forth. And I want to give everyone a chance who was in that LinkedIn message to come in and introduce themselves to the group. And that is essentially the plan. And I'm going to open a seat. So somebody want to call in, and I've got a few questions for it. Let's see, lock seat. Okay, so the seat should be open. Let me know if you can see the call in. Jessica, Peter, Sharon. Oh, we got Jessica calling in. I'm going to accept you, Jessica.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I guess I'm first.
You're first. I'm glad you're here, Jessica. And you and I are, you were one of the people that I didn't have a chance to meet at Social Media Marketing World. So I'm glad.
Yeah, sorry, I disappeared a bit.
That's okay. That's okay. That happens. And we're letting Sharon in a seat. Hi, Sharon. Good to see you again.
Hi, Jessica.
Good to see you.
Nice to meet you too.
So I'm going to do a few questions for Jessica. We have 5 or so questions, and then I'll kind of ask her to rotate out. We'll bring one more person in, and we'll go try and get through all of us who are on that LinkedIn message. Once we stop recording at 10, it doesn't go away. Hi, Mitch. How are you? It doesn't go away right away.
Hi,
so
Mitch.
if you wanted to come back in and ask a question of somebody else, I can stick around for a little while after that. Hey, Mitch. Hey, Mitch, can I make you a co-host in case we have any issues that I might need your assistance on? Sure. All right. Excellent. So, Jessica, let's start with you since I didn't get a chance to meet you. Where are you located, and what is your specialty practice?
So, you know, the where are you located is always the hardest question for me.
Okay.
Currently located in the St. Louis area. We have offices on the Illinois side, in St. Louis, and in Chicago. So I bounce around quite a bit. Midwest. How about I commit to Midwest?
That's good. That works. Okay. And what is your practice?
So I do marketing for mass torts industry, and so my practice is really national. Okay. And so my target audience is less local based and more national.
Yeah.
So less on the legal practice and more on the marketing side these days.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. It allows me to be wherever, so I like that.
Very cool. Very cool. And where are you most active on social media?
It really depends on the litigation, and that's the thing about my business is it's really about finding the target market and understanding what the litigation's about, and it's so varied. Depending on what the litigation is, it could be 67-year-old men, which are not generally online in social media, or it could be there's been a lot of increased presence with community groups and advocacy-based groups, and they're on social media like crazy. So I need to go where they are.
Okay.
Facebook, Twitter, all sorts of places.
Excellent, excellent. And where would you say you need to improve on social, or how do you think what would be the area you need to improve to increase your visibility for your practice?
Without a doubt, I lack in video, and
Okay.
most definitely the creative end, because obviously, just like you guys, I went to law school and I'm just learning this end. So yeah, that's definitely the area that I lack in.
Awesome. Okay.
So this is helpful. I love this.
Well, great. I'm glad. That's sort of what the reason for doing it was. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Good to see
Hey
you.
guys.
Gonna let you jump in just a second. I want to ask one more question of Jessica, and how can we collaborate? How can we help each other to continue moving the legal industry online? What can we do to help you?
So I'm just thrilled there's other people that do this. I mean, I've followed Mitch for a long time. I've heard him speak quite a few times, and I knew he was active, but I had no idea there were other people that were interested. So truthfully, I'm just thrilled to meet you all. I know Jeff, we've met a few times, so
Excellent.
Cool. I don't know how we can all help each other, but honestly, just getting to know you guys is awesome.
Awesome. That is great. This is the reason I wanted to do it. But I also want to, be able to see each other on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and promote each other's content. And this is really for collaboration. Was my reason for doing this.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm going to rotate now to Sharon and Jessica. If you could give me a minute, and if we have some free time in a few, we'll have you pop back in.
All right, will do. See you guys.
Thank you. Okay, Sharon, how are you? Good to see you again.
Actually, good afternoon. It's good to see you too.
Yeah. So tell us, where are you located, and what is your practice?
I'm located in Cleveland, Ohio, and I've got a national practice focusing on the marketing and advertising industries, primarily targeted to marketing and creative services agencies and nationwide. So most of our new business work is with agencies in the areas of agency client contract negotiations and management, helping them manage their freelancer networks, helping them manage their IP issues, particularly protection and copyright protection, and then helping them with regulatory compliance in social media and content marketing.
Excellent, excellent. And where are you most active on social today?
I am most active, I would say, on Twitter and on LinkedIn. And what my challenge is, I really what Jessica was saying is the video media, getting more regular, and I've not yet absorbed Snapchat, and I haven't had time to. I don't want to start trying to adopt it until I have time to learn more about it and how to use it effectively, because I don't want to add a new channel that's not going to be well utilized.
Sure. Great. Well, Mitch and I are both very active in video, so if you have any questions, I'm sure I'm going to speak for Mitch if I can, because I learned a lot from him. So I'm sure what I did is I followed him and saw how he did it, and then started learning from that. But if I can help in any way, just shoot me a message and I will. So need to improve there. And how can we help you? How can the legal group on social help you?
I think just staying in regular touch to see what techniques everybody's adapting, particularly those of you who work with B2B, with business-oriented clients in a B2B environment. My clients are just about all businesses, very few individuals. Occasionally we'll help a freelancer on IP matters. But so, navigating the channels that work most effectively with that audience. And I'm double challenged because my clients are in the marketing and advertising space. So they're definitely adapting all the newest, freshest tools before we have the bandwidth to adapt them here. So just staying in touch with all of you and knowing what your experiences are and how you're navigating the channels and what works well for you will be really helpful for me.
Excellent. Well, that's great. That's what I like to hear. And I'm going to rotate Jeff in and ask him some questions. So I'm going to rotate you out and let somebody else pop in. And then thank you. Jeff, how are you?
What's happening, Nick? Good to see you, man.
So, you and Mitch know each other. You and I got a chance to meet. Tell me a little bit. Where are you located? And what's your practice specialty? Hey, Mitch.
Well, there's the Mitch. He's got his gloves up. All right, let him So, yes, Jeff Weinstein. I am from Athens, Texas, which is a little east of Dallas, and it is the home of the hamburger. People need to know that this weekend when you're spending time instead of working and you're just online having fun. Check it out. Fletcher Davis invented the hamburger, Athens, Texas.
Learn something new every day, right?
You know what's interesting is it's hard to be like Mitch, but everybody wants to be like Mitch.
Stop. I never got that. So, you promised to give me a kiss, Jeff, at the convention. I never got it. So let's focus on everybody else for a little while. I'd be okay with that. Trust me.
But you know, if
what's your practice, Jeff? What's your practice?
Mitch and I have a similar practice. We're both personal injury guys. We represent people that have been harmed as a result of negligence of others. And what's interesting is the practice flows very smoothly into social because it's all about communicating with people, helping people, trying to do right, you know, and making sure that everything kind of flows smoothly. So I think it was fun to hear you say earlier, you didn't think there were a lot of lawyers engaged. There are a lot of lawyers on social media, but I don't think that they really understand maybe their responsibility, you know, because it's big. You know, if you watch I'm not going to get into it too much, but like, for example, the presidential debates and the way that people communicate with one another. Oh my God, would you ever say some of those things in person to people?
Yeah. And I think what your point is there are a lot of lawyers on social. I think the engaging is where many of them are having difficulty really learning how to engage with their clients and with others to kind of promote. So where are you most active, Jeff, on the social platforms?
Yeah, 3 years ago, a friend of mine and I created an online local newspaper. So we were extremely hyper local. And the idea was, hey, let's be good stewards of the community. Let's talk about the kids going to the state championship and who won. Let's talk about Mrs. Smith's pie that won at the county fair and things of that nature. And people love it. I mean, I've got 100,000 Facebook followers weekly for a little bitty local newspaper of 12,000 people in my town.
Interesting.
And so we went from being, you know, and Mitch will get a kick out of this, went from being ambulance chasers to the guys that bring you the news. But I do have a theory on why, Nick, lawyers have so much trouble.
Okay.
Because in social, you have to be very authentic and very real, and people can read through it immediately. If you're just out there promoting yourself, you know, forget about it. No, you know,
I agree.
Nobody cares. They want real content that applies to them. They want to have a real discussion, and they don't want just some lawyer giving them lawyer lip service.
I agree. You got it right on. And where do you need to improve, Jeff? What platforms or areas do you think you need to improve on?
Well, it's funny. Have I sunk into my dad's role? Because I've already said to myself, I don't get Snapchat. I don't understand Snapchat. You know, I barely have time for LinkedIn and Instagram, let alone Twitter. What I really need is I need you guys collectively to create more hours in the day.
Okay, I'll work on that.
If I could just get 4 more hours a day, I could compete.
I'm going to note that and see if I can get to that for you. And,
we need an app for that, right?
We need an app for that.
That's right.
And how can we help other than creating more hours a day? How can this legal meetup group help?
Nick, I think what you're doing here when you bring people together, just the idea that we're chatting about it, and you know, I'm going to learn hopefully something from Peter, Mitch. I always learn things from Mitch, which is great. Jessica, who I've known for years. I mean, every time and her husband, every time we have an opportunity to get together, wow, you know, I get a little thought blow. It helps me. It helps me become more efficient, and it helps me do a better job for the people that I'm representing.
That's awesome. That's great. Okay, excellent. Jeff, thank you for popping in. I'm going to rotate you out and go to Peter, and hopefully I'll get people to pop back in.
See you in a bit.
See you in a bit.
Take care, Jeff.
Peter is in a different role than practicing attorney, I believe, right? Peter, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, that's correct. So you guys can hear me okay, right?
Yep.
Okay, great. Well, thanks, Nick, for organizing this. Thanks to everybody else for signing on. It's good to see everybody. I don't think I really met any of you at the conference, and I apologize for that. It's just one of those things, I guess.
Yeah.
I did actually run into one other person in our industry, and I don't think he's on this group that you've assembled here, Nick, but his name's Eric Beskaukis. I'll try to send you him on LinkedIn. He works at a personal injury law firm in Florida, and we just met up over beers, basically. Really nice guy. Had a great opportunity to chat with him, and because he's dealing with a lot of the same kinds of issues that people have raised here already. But anyway, so just a little bit about me. Really quick.
Where are you located, and what do you do?
Yeah, so I'm located in Madison, Wisconsin, and so I work for the State Bar of Wisconsin, and I'm the communications coordinator here. And so my role really over the last 4 or 5 years has been to take on social media. It's been tough. I mean, it's a lot of work. As everyone here would probably agree, it's a monumental task.
Yes.
My other role is to work on the content management side of things for our website. So I kind of, and I'm sure like a lot of you, it's kind of like I do a little bit of everything, when it comes to it. But I think when it comes to social media, Nick, some of the other questions you asked, like where are we most active and stuff like that.
Please.
I think Facebook is probably where we're most active. We also do a lot of posting on Twitter and LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's tough because, I think from my impression is that a lot of lawyers, they're on social media. Absolutely. They're on there personally, but they may not always see a connection, like depending on the channel. They may not see like, oh, I'm on Facebook, but that's for my private life. And I like to be on LinkedIn, and that's where I'm all about business.
Right.
So there's like this real hesitancy to like mix their roles sometimes.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure other people are experiencing that too, because frankly, I think a lot of attorneys they're worried about like malpractice. They say the wrong thing, on Facebook. Maybe they're, like being friends with a client. It's like if you say the wrong thing, you post on Facebook, you could get into some trouble really fast. And I think, that's just the reality of our industry.
And I think Mitch will have some comments on that about what's the appropriate thing for an attorney to, if I can speak for you one more time here, Mitch, I think you'll have some comments on that, what's appropriate for an attorney to post and what's not. But
don't say the wrong thing. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's as simple as that.
Yeah. Where does the State Bar of Wisconsin need to improve their social visibility?
I think content is not an issue for us. I mean, we have writers on staff. We have experts in areas here, so we're constantly creating content. I think where we really need help is on the outreach. Where is the engagement? We can't just be pumping content out to people and expecting to get any kind of engagement. How are we responding to their needs? And the trick with the State Bar is and maybe some of you have similar issues, is that because we're the State Bar, we have a lot of audiences.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just personal injury attorneys. It's all attorneys. Not only that, we have a dual mission. We have a dual mission to aid the public in understanding the judicial system. So like one of the biggest issues that we have also is just like, who are we talking to? How do we do, who's our audience with every single one of these posts? And that's really tough to balance, because somebody's not going to, they're going to look at a post and say, well, this doesn't apply to me.
It's not for me. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
interesting. Yeah. And where can our new group of legal eagles help you, and how can we collaborate and help?
It's good to know that there are others out there, and I think that's a big thing. I mean, that's what others have said. I'm always curious, and I'm going to definitely stay tuned to kind of see what other people are saying. But it's, I'm curious to know, like, how are you targeting your audience? What channels are you using to do that? Are you boosting a lot of your posts? Are you putting serious money behind that stuff? How has it been going? For me, it's like we're focused on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, but that's because we've kind of done some surveys of our members, and they've said, well, there's a few on Pinterest, there's a few on Instagram, there's a few maybe on Snapchat now, but it's like it's such a small amount that it's like, do we, we want to be everywhere, but we can't feasibly be everywhere.
Right.
So we want to focus. So I'm curious on where you're focusing and how it's going.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm going to rotate you out and ask Mitch to share some of his. Thanks, Peter. I'll see you soon. All right, Mitch. And I'm going to say that we do have an open seat. The folks from the LinkedIn group who have not yet joined, I'm not sure if they're in the room yet or not, are Lauren Cremain, Chrissy Watson, and Jeff Lance. So if any of you three are in, please grab a seat. If they are not available, give them about a minute or two. If they're not available, we're certainly getting to last in that LinkedIn message, and then we can bring others in to sort of talk free flow here. But Mitch, for those who don't know him, where are you located and what is your specialty practice?
We're in Southern California, and we help people that have been harmed by the wrongdoing of others. And Nick, this is an awesome idea. Thanks for putting this together. I want to say one of my favorite things about social media marketing world 60 down in San Diego was having lunch with you guys both days. I mean, what a great group of people associated directly or indirectly with the legal profession. We chatted, we talked, and you know what we did? For me, my takeaway is we talked about things that really didn't have a whole lot to do with social. It was the human interactions. And when I was listening to the conversation, and I shared a post over here, using the social platforms, I think lawyers need to really just take a step back, take a deep breath, and show their human side.
Absolutely.
Just be a human being. Don't get all wrapped up about metrics and what platforms you should be on. Be on the platforms you're comfortable with and just be yourself. But in the back of my mind, Nick, one of the biggest challenges that I've seen lawyers have, and any professional, because our time is limited, okay? Mm-hmm. And that has to do with the power of repurposing content. If you create really good content, and I've shared the link over on the right, you can repurpose that content on the different platforms. And in that link that was shared at David Ward, who's an attorney marketing specialist, who's a friend of mine and lives down the street, we shared 10 different ways to do that, you guys. So it's a great way for professionals, especially lawyers, to put out good content and then repurpose it across the different platforms.
Which saves time. And effort. Yeah. And so you are in personal injury, medical malpractice, almost entirely.
No. I've had a lot of success in med mal. I don't enjoy it. We have out here in California micro, which is an artificial cap on damages, and it's really choking the consumer's ability to hold negligent physicians and hospitals and healthcare practitioners accountable for their wrongful conduct. We do catastrophic injury and wrongful death primarily, and we also do business litigation. And I just love the human side of social and marketing. It's just it really makes it fun to get out of bed in the morning and just engage and meet really cool people on the platforms and people like you, Nick. And I mean, we wouldn't have met had it not been for social.
That's right.
And really, it's been one of the highlights of this past year is meeting you and getting to know you much better and knowing a lot more about Experts.com and the people over in the chat and guys like Jeff, big old lawyers from Texas like Jeff that are really doing, this guy's doing amazing things, right? Yep. And it's cool to finally meet him and now have a relationship online and share content. It's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Rotary show.
And where I can't say that I know where you need to improve, but maybe you have some insights on which social platforms or areas you need to improve on. What do you think you need to do?
Well, I think it's a matter of we're all learning this together. And I think, with attorneys and with professionals, sometimes sometimes it can be a challenge to engage others on sensitive issues. And I think for me, oftentimes, I always tell people when you're dealing with a challenging issue, before you respond, deflect it off of you, reflect about what you're going to say, and then obviously, share your thoughts. And so I think pausing on social, especially for lawyers, is a great idea before responding, before jumping in. I think that's something that we all need to work on. And I also think, though, Nick, let me answer your question from a general perspective. I think it's more valuable. The biggest issue and challenge I've seen with lawyers on social is what was referenced earlier, They're afraid to show their human side. They're afraid to be real. And once you learn how to do that, and Jeff will tell you, once you learn how to be yourself on social, and we don't need to show up in our business suits. Mine's hanging on the door. I don't need, I've got my Rotary shirt on. And once you learn how to just be yourself, that's where the connections start happening, right, Nick? And that's where good things start happening. So that's the takeaway, is to continuously work on being ourselves.
Yep.
Being human.
And how can we all help you with what you're doing?
Oh, wow. You know what? I'll tell you what, if you see content that I'm sharing that you find useful and beneficial to your audience, I love it when other people share my content. And in return, if you've got content that you want me to share with my audience, send it over, bring it to my attention. You're not bothering me. I love to share good, helpful, useful content from wherever with my audience. So it's a back and forth that works really well.
I agree. And all right, so we have gotten through all from the LinkedIn message who were able to get here. Now we've got an open seat. I'm willing to allow a free flow of conversation about and get to know each other some more, however folks want to do it. Jeff has popped back in. Jeff, what do you got for us?
Well, I just thought you said open seat. I saw the note. I jump in. I mean, come on. Who wants to not be part of the discussion here? It's funny. We've lived most of our lives, for those a little bit older, I may be the oldest one on this whole deal here, but we've lived most of our lives kind of being told to kind of sit back, especially if you're a lawyer, sit back, watch, listen, which is very important stuff. Don't read me wrong. But this is an opportunity for, especially since I'm 30 years of practicing law, to really get out there and share with people that, I bleed just like they do. You can punch me, I'll bruise. I got red blood just like everybody else. I may not have a heart, but I got plenty of blood. And there she is, one of my favorite people of all time. Jessica's so amazing. Wow. In fact, I think the last time I saw Jessica, I may have been riding on the top of a golf cart. It was not very smart.
Is that this discussion, or is that a
no?
different
It's a totally different discussion. Right. But I think that the opportunity for us as lawyers to share with people that we have appointments with our kids just like they do. We have penalties at our house. The hot water heater goes out every month just like they do. Everything in our lives is not perfect. It's not fantastic. It's not wonderful. If you can share with people how real and that you're going through the same struggles they are, I think then you can create this tribe of family that really wants to work together to make your community better, their community better. And I think once you do that, you're actually probably a better lawyer, to tell you the truth.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and honestly, one of the reasons Jeff and I know each other is because and actually Mitch too, I feel like I'm doing a Brady Bunch thing. We're all interested in stuff that has nothing to do with the law. It's about distracted driving. And the stuff that I retweet from Mitch and Jeff and I end up doing is more about the safety of kids and we're interested in things as humans as opposed to legal stuff. Jeff and I rarely talk law.
Yeah, why would we?
Well, it's hard.
That would be foolish. You're so smart. Why would I talk law to you?
Golf cart roofs, they're fiberglass. It's hard to hear through them.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I was hanging over the side, Mitch. They could hear everything.
Yeah, been there, done that. Trust
you don't want to know what I heard that day.
I will let you guys know that we've got the shameless plug for Experts.com. There are a lot of golf cart accidents out there. And we got experts who deal with these things. There are more than you would like to think.
Good to know.
They really are. They really are. What's fun is this is such a great way for us to build relationships. And I don't have to travel to Texas or Florida or New York to spend 5 or 10 minutes with you guys.
Maybe we need to come to Southern California, though. I'm there.
Absolutely. I mean, I would love for you guys to, if anybody's watching the show, any of you, if you're ever in town, ring me up. I mean, I would love to grab lunch, dinner, breakfast, whatever you want to do. We can go surfing, we can go riding, whatever you guys want to do. It's all good.
Surfing sounds dangerous.
We can watch the surfers, whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter. Sunsets are pretty tough to beat. It's interesting. I was at a Rotary deal last night, and we have hey, you guys want to hear some news that was just announced last night?
Yeah.
What?
For the first time? Jeff, where did you go?
Jeff!
Okay.
Lost Jeff.
The news is Rotary clubs, around the world, 33,000 clubs in our county here, it's District 5320. We have about 40 to 50 clubs. And in each club, we're trying to get our clubs to sponsor what are called Interact clubs. It's Rotary for high school students, basically, okay? And so last night they announced that for the next 3 years in our district, yours truly is going to be heading up the Interact. I'll be the Interact district governor for our district, overseeing 40 to 50 high schools, helping each school develop their Interact club. Each Interact club will have 20 to 80 students in it.
Yeah, dude. That's cool.
Now there's a little self-serving in here. My son's a sophomore. Our daughter was the district governor when she graduated from her high school. Our son's now a sophomore. He's getting more involved. And so for the next 3 years, he and I are going to do this together as a father-son project.
Cool.
Awesome. Congratulations.
So I don't know where we're going to find the time, but I'm hoping what I want to do, guys, is use these platforms to get all the high school students together so that we can be more efficient and share more ideas. And I'm trying to set up social channels. And this would work for law firms. Imagine one Instagram account and one Snapchat account, which is where these kids are, by the way,
Right.
that all 40 high schools can add content to at once. Instead of us having 40 different accounts, we have one main district Interact account, and the kids get into it. So that's something that I'm going to try.
Yeah.
They do it already, but they
They're
have
already
separate accounts. And we as lawyers, we could do the same thing. If there's a cause that we feel strongly about, we could set up one account and all add our content together to that account to help our audience, to educate the consumer, to make the world a safer place. I mean, it's really exciting to see what's going to be happening over the next 3 to 5 years on social. But anyway, that was just announced last night, and so I'm really excited about it.
Cool.
I don't know where I'm going to find the time, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's it. You make
Right.
some good points though, Mitch. As far as we did this as a meetup. Maybe I've got to kind of spitball and think about what type of a group we could set up, a collaborative group for those who have joined in today, who are on the LinkedIn message and attended social media marketing world, and obviously others, but maybe some sort of a law and law related collaborative group somewhere. That would be interesting. I'll have to think about that. If you guys have ideas, send me a message.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, the downside, though, Jessica, are you going to be in Florida for the
Yes. Yeah, I am. Jeff,
Okay.
are you going?
No, I'm not going to make it. I'm going to miss you
I'll be there.
guys.
So I found out earlier this week I may have conflict.
Is this the graduation conflict?
No, this
Oh.
is something else. It's called the jury trial.
Oh.
Just tell the judge that you're going to ROI and hang tight. You'll be there in a bit.
You know,
You get there when you get there.
it's a long story, and it's about courtroom availability. And I should get a phone call later today, and I'm going to find out. But there might be some issues, so we'll see what happens. I know. I'm really disappointed, but
Yeah, it's
I
a
don't want to
great
go
group.
I don't want to go sideways on this. But
No, this is what we're about.
Yeah.
We're communicating.
So Nick, back to and everyone that's watching and participating, back to social media marketing world 16 in San Diego, with our backgrounds, with our experience, based upon what you guys saw, what you heard, who you talked to, what you watched. What's your takeaway with how lawyers, how law firms can tap into social, tap into the platforms, maybe in a way that we haven't done so as of today? I mean, what do you see happening in the next 12 to 18 months?
My viewpoint is live video will revolutionize it for law firms. It'll take that, in most of my experience in watching the video, it comes from the personal injury side. You guys are the most innovative in social media, but some of them have the giant YouTube productions, very scripted, very uncomfortable to even watch. And I think the live will revolutionize that for attorneys. That's
I hope so. Let's get rid of all that scripted video with all those subheadings and.
I don't watch it.
Well,
you guys watch that stuff?
I usually click on it just to see what they've done for a short time and realize that this is something I don't want to watch. So I think seeing enough of them that I don't.
And they pay a lot for it too. It's like I'd rather just see Jeff talking to me and get an idea about what kind of a lawyer he is that way, rather than a scripted, paid for kind of an ad.
Well, I think what happens is that as lawyers, and you guys may have a different take on it, but we go to these seminars and conventions and we see the diet pill outside at the desk where the person says, if you'll just pay me $1,500, I'll move you to the very top of what everybody's doing. And we all know that's not the way social works.
No.
I mean, there's probably a place for it, which is fine. I mean, that's the beauty of social, is that there's exponential space. So there's a place for that, and that's fine. Somebody may watch it, whatever. But for those of us that are really trying to interact with one another, you're gonna have to sit down with, if you don't feel comfortable doing it yourself, that's fine. Some of us don't. You're gonna have to sit down with somebody who kind of massage you into just being whatever you are, and that's gonna be okay. That's the beauty of this.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sharon, your thoughts?
Yeah.
What's revolutionizing? What will be revolutionary for attorneys and social in the next 12 to 18 months?
I agree that it's going to be getting video because
We're getting a bad feedback. Sharon, do you have headphones by any chance?
I don't. I'm sorry.
You may want to refresh your browser and hop back in once you refresh.
Okay.
So Jess, what did you think was revolutionary in the next 12 to 18 months?
Oh, I totally agree with you. It's this live video, it's Periscope, it's Blab, it's Facebook Live. I think they're all potentially huge. I don't know how long it'll take lawyers to do it. I know that personal injury attorneys do have the horrible videos that they produce. I don't see them easily jumping into this. And I mean, I wish some of them would. I wish some of them wouldn't. But, I think it's so much easier to just engage like this. And so much more effective.
Hey, Jessica, this is one day that's really good not to be Peter. Because think about it. How are you guys going to oversee things like what we're doing right here? Because in the old days, maybe this discussion had to be approved by the bar before we even had it.
Yeah. Well, and on the flip side,
hopefully we're not going to try to do that.
I have been trying to talk to groups like AJ and Trial Lawyers Care and get them to engage like this, talking about not necessarily legal stuff, but about the great things that lawyers do. And I know Mitch was talking about the same thing with end distracted driving. This has really not a ton to do with the legal profession, but the higher ups are scared we're going to say something live that we can't take back. And I mean, it's
we probably will.
We will.
We probably will.
What I did a lab presentation to a group of expert witnesses in New York City, and naturally the attorneys have made them very fearful about what they might say or what content they might produce because it may be used to impeach them later on. And I told them a couple of things. And Mitch has mentioned this before in a previous interview, if you're worried about what you're going to say and how that might be used to impeach you, you got way bigger problems.
Right, absolutely.
As an expert. And I also told them my biggest piece of advice was, if you're not a likable person, you're a mature adult and you should know this by now, right? And this type of platform may not be the right one for you.
Right.
So that's my advice. Mitch asks a question in the chat on thoughts regarding 360 and virtual reality. Have you guys thought about it? Have anybody played with it? I have played very limited with some VR, but not 360 video yet.
Yeah,
No, I'm intrigued.
Somebody else jump in here.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's going to open up new dimensions to relationships. I'm looking for Mitch to do it first.
always leading the way. Always leading the way.
You know what I'm going to do?
Trailblazer.
You know what I'm going to do? What I want to do is I tried to try 2 cases, jury trials with Google Glass, and and this is 2.5, 3 years ago, and I had the opposing counsel stick to it, and the judges were okay with it. But the case is settled, okay? And there are pros and the clients also were okay with it. There are pros and cons because it looks dorky and it could, there are all kinds of issues. Imagine a virtual reality or 360 type of device that's literally the size of a button that you're wearing right here, okay? Or 360 type of thing where I have a button here instead of 1 unit, which is out right now for about $400, about the size of my fist. 1 camera here, 1 camera here, and imagine showing the consumer what a real trial looks like. The work, the effort, the agony, the pain of all of us counsel, judges, court staff, jurors, of what's really going on in our legal system for all of us to do a good job. Imagine the awareness and how we could fight all of the propaganda that we're seeing, tort reform and everything else, by taking the jury into a drunk driving or distracted driving wrongful death case and let them see exactly what the facts are. And I just think it's it's going to be so exciting when used the right way to accurately share the facts in real time, in real life. And the other thing about VR, you guys, which I think is going to be cool, is we're spending a lot of money to take jurors out of the courtroom into a bus to the scene of an incident. Okay, that costs a lot of money. It takes a lot of time. Imagine having somebody in real time walking through with a 360 virtual reality type of thing, where each juror has a $20 Google card box thing on their face, and they're actually in there looking at the scene of a explosion that's 250 miles away in real time, and the judge is telling the person, walk over to your right, the jury would like to see that container one more time. I mean, what a great way to share.
Jeff's playing devil's advocate. He wants to know what the insurance companies are going to say about that.
The smart ones will embrace it, and the smart attorneys on either side of the fence will use technology to save money and to share the facts. Okay, I guarantee you, if the facts of that experience are such that it's going to harm your case, then you'll be filing a motion in limine not to let that happen.
Right.
Nothing's changed. It's just the evidence is going to be different.
And I think that's a good point, Mitch, from our expert perspective. I've been thinking about virtual reality and how that would be used to reconstruct an accident, right? And, now let's look at it from over here. Or in a medical malpractice case, let's view the body this way. They were on the surgical table, the scissors left inside or whatever. Well, where exactly were they left inside? And I think that'll have real application for presenting evidence at trial. Have you guys thought about it, Peter, at all, using VR or any of that? Or are you still?
I think if it's been thought about, it's been just really in passing. I mean, I think at this point, we're just trying to just turn our members onto the idea of video in general. I think, but I think the thing that's out there is that there's a lot of video. It's just, is it quality video? And as I get to some of the things that you guys were talking about earlier about, showcasing personality, getting beyond just the dry, lawyer speak, I guess, for lack of a better term, that, could just come spouting out, and that's just going to immediately turn a viewer off. Even somebody who's in that practice area, they have no desire to look at that. So how do you make it interesting? How do you make it compelling? I mean, to Mitch's point about utilizing VR, in a trial setting, I think for the state bar, like one of the programs that we do for the public side of things is we help to organize mock trial for kids. Mm-hmm. So how cool would that be to be able to bring like a classroom, into the courtroom, through virtual reality, and you play with that kind of stuff. And kids, I think high school students, are going to be already on all of these platforms to start. So why not just let them go and just experiment with it in a setting like that? I mean, 10 years later, they're going to be the new lawyers. So they've already adopted it. They're early adopters.
Like Jeff's, this is not Law and Order. It's really not. It's not as exciting as it looks on TV. There's a lot of details that.
I can't agree.
Sexy.
I can't agree.
Guys, I got to jump out. But I just want to say real quick, Peter, we have coached the local high school mock trial team, and most high school students don't know what mock trial is until they get into the classroom, and we try to keep it fun, right? Imagine for the upcoming year, you approach them and say, listen, we're going to have a mock trial team, but here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be using Samsung virtual reality headsets in the presentation of our evidence. Are you guys interested in being part of it? I think it would help stimulate interest in conversation. I think it would be kind of interesting.
They just want to put the headsets on.
Well, I think there's an opportunity. I would just real quickly, I would say there's even an opportunity to partner with Samsung.
Partner with them and have them provide the items. And then, Peter, the other thing is I've got some friends that wanted to jump. I don't mean to overtalk you and interrupt, but I'm getting the hook here from the senior partner. But here's the thing. The other thing is lawyers who have watched what all of us are doing and they want to do it themselves, and then they jump on and their live stream turns on into a traditional lawyer late night commercial. It's just in some people's DNA, right? Even though they don't want to be that way, as soon as the camera goes live. So what I've told them to do is stop doing that, and instead, when they're at an event, if they're at their church handing out food on a Sunday morning to, on a food drive, or they're coaching their youth soccer team or whatever they're doing, I said, that's where I want you to pull out your Periscope. Yes. That's where I want you to pull out your Snapchat and just show people. Don't even talk, just show people what you're doing. And it forces them to take off their lawyer hat and put on their coaching hat or their community service hat. And then they start getting the idea that it's not about them, it's what they're doing. It's what they support. It's what their passions are. That's been really effective for me. Guys, I have to run. Nick, thanks for putting this together. Jessica, it's good to see you. Pete,
nice to meet you, Mitch.
See everybody. Bye-bye.
Mitch. Peter, you had asked a question in the side chat that I'll answer. Mitch and I have both been active on Blab for quite some time, and we've used it as we're a membership site, just like the State Bar is a membership-based organization. Our experts pay to be on the site, and then attorneys can search the site and contact the experts directly. We don't broker the engagement. There's no markup of the billable hour. So one of the things that we have done is, okay, for those who are comfortable, we've brought them over and done moderated interviews about their expertise. And that might be something that your members might be interested in doing. And that has, A, helped them come onto social and feel a little bit more comfortable with social. Sure. B, they get a video done that they can then reuse. We turn it into a YouTube video. We link it to their profiles. They get to reuse it. Right. This has been a great way for using Blab. Why Blab has been a bigger portion of our online video use than Periscope and Facebook Live. If either of those end up getting a multi-video feed, we'll definitely adapt to that. But it's been. So,
Nick, I haven't actually taken any of these videos and edited it. Is that what you do? Do you actually take a Blab and you'll take parts of it and edit it and refunction it into?
We repurpose it. We'll take the Blab and we'll upload it into a YouTube video. I have not spent time, and this is a failure.
Will you be able to make me look thinner right here?
I haven't been able to do that with myself yet, Jeff. So it's.
Some of my hair. You have some of my hair.
I need some of that. Send that to me, would you? But I have not spent the time on editing because I wanted it to be a full live, authentic production. But I think you can still get that feeling if you edit out some of those. Maybe there's a awkward silence or something like that. But I have not edited it in the past. I probably will look into it in the future. But
okay.
And I think actually some of the things we were talking about earlier with state bars being a little hesitant or AHA or whatever to start using that. Facebook Live, you can't really edit. You're on or you're off.
Right.
Periscope too, but if this is editable, if we could take this and take parts of it and share it, I think that's a much more interesting.
Jessica, did you hear that a woman delivered her baby live on Facebook Live 2 days ago?
I heard that was an accident, actually.
An accident.
The baby was the accident?
Peter, it was an accident. She had a baby, an accident that she was pregnant. What part of it was an accident?
I did hear about that, Jeff. I heard that the dad turned it on. The father turned it on. And then thought he was just sending it to friends and family. And then it was like to the entire world, but then he didn't want to lose anything, so he didn't turn it on. So what I heard is that he realized midway through and just kept it going. So
this is a lesson for all of us.
This is what the bar is afraid of.
This is a lesson for all of us. You got to test these things out.
Yeah,
you got to test them out before you decide to go live something serious.
Yeah.
You got to know the features.
I got to tell you, the next one's not going to be an accident. I mean, this is where is where we were going. And it's amazing. I mean, the legal implications, some kind of privacy issues of what went on there. I mean, this is incredible stuff. And, the idea that maybe some court at some point in time will engage in these issues, the courts won't hear about it for years. What's going to happen, in the interim?
Right.
It's going to be nutty. You know, if
It's
the
gonna be
hospital,
insane.
The Wild West.
if the hospital says you can't video in here, and the father says, "Well, I'm paying $8,000 to be here today to deliver the baby. I'm videoing."
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
It'll be interesting to see. And then more video for folks in the personal injury and medical malpractice. There's all this evidence now that needs to be evaluated.
I don't know.
One of your questions, Jessica, about repurposing video, one of the cool things we found with Blab was that once this is done, once this is complete, they actually email me audio and video. Once I turn off the recording, we leave. They email me the audio and the video for repurposing, and then I get to take that raw video, upload it to YouTube. It'll be on the Experts.com YouTube page, and so that was one of the real cool things with Blab. We have heard that Blab may be doing some sort of a pivot away from this portion here. So some of us who have used it effectively are looking for an ulterior platform for that. And you can also Periscope. If you save it to your camera roll, you can then upload it to and edit it. So there are a lot of editing and repurposing abilities with these platforms. So,
And Nick, what are you using as far as editing? Does it have an edit feature?
No, YouTube has their own edit feature, and I need to learn how to do that better because I haven't at this point. This conversation, I will probably leave it as is, and people, once it's on YouTube, you can fast forward through us joking around if they want to hear more about the items that we discussed. But you can, probably upload it to your Mac and use iMovie or something like that. And there's probably even better editing capabilities, but I have not played with those very much because I was in the thought process of keeping the live interview as authentic as possible. And but there's probably lulls and boring parts that I could do away with.
I haven't heard one boring part since I've been in here.
I have that
for you there.
Well, Nick, one thing I was going to say is that I like the idea of is utilizing some of this video to help members who are, a big part of what we do is CLE. And so, when we have speakers come in, and so much of what we do now is, we broadcast, we do a webcast of and more members who are across the state and they can't make it into a physical location, they're following the webcast, which is great, and they can ask questions and stuff like that. But what I'd love to do is I'd like to incorporate in some kind of live video with the presenter, maybe at the end, like do 5-10 minutes, just like, hey, can you give us of today's presentation, if a lawyer couldn't attend, give me your number one or top 3 tips that they can take, that they can implement in their practice right away. And then, hey, if they are looking to learn even more, where can they contact you? Or maybe they should watch this webinar, and then leave it up to them if they want to, follow up and learn more.
This format's just so much more interactive. We're answering the questions that are popping up on the side. Yeah. So from a CLE standpoint, it's not just a presenter standing there giving you the information. It's
them being engaging.
Really
taking
about.
Similar to a webinar with a social component, but it's much more engaging. Having 4 people able to talk and able to bounce somebody out and bring somebody else in with a question, it's just a really great platform. So unfortunately, we hear things are changing with this platform, but I'm hoping somebody figures it out.
So, Nick, you said that a couple of times. Is it going to be less of a 4-person kind of a thing, or is it more in the editing?
I think they're going to a different mobile experience is what I heard yesterday. So it'll be, I don't know how much time they're going to use with the desktop experience, which is unfortunate because for those of us who produce shows, we love this desktop experience for making shows and doing interviews and that type of thing. But you know what? The kids aren't interested in this.
Right.
So that is, I think,
I'm going to force my kids to watch if they want to get their allowance this week. They're going to watch the whole unedited thing.
Hey, Jeff, put it on Snapchat and I'll see it.
And take notes.
So embarrassed, Jessica.
Come on, you're getting on Snapchat.
Snapchat is an interesting one, and I've seen attorneys use it. The few attorneys that I'm connected with on it, really cool. Mitch does his communication tips on Snapchat. Scott McMullen, who's a criminal defense attorney out of Maryland, has done some really fun. He's in his car and he's on video and he's all right, I want everybody to pay attention because I'm going to show you a ton of drugs, thousands and thousands of drugs. And you think, you think he's going to take you into some sort of an evidence locker, and he walks into the liquor store and just shows you all the liquor in the liquor store, and then tells you this is one of the drugs that results in people getting arrested.
Brilliant.
That's a fun way to do it.
Brilliant.
You know,
Absolutely brilliant.
Grab our attention.
Yeah, grab your
I've only
attention.
ever done Snapchat personally because, you know, I have to be there because I have teens, you know, to communicate with them. They no longer want to text me. I have to go and snap them, which is ridiculous. My face, like, get your butt home, you know, like, but that's what they listen to.
My kids have blocked me. Do you guys know how to get around that?
I don't know how to get around that, but
No,
it is a great feature if you get a troll or a parent, you know, they block you. But I found it as one of those where I have a lot more fun on Snapchat, and over there you're going to get more of Nick rather than the Nick who is a professional on it, and that's been fun for me. But I also don't have to accept if some of my customers and clients start coming over. I don't have to accept them to follow me over there. You know, I'm going to use this one for my fun, and those who understand me and get my ideas on marketing and having a little bit more fun, those are the ones I'm going to accept. But, you know, you can kind of moderate that a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, well, we got about 5 minutes left. I'm going to end the recording there. And then people can stick around if they want. If somebody else wants to jump back in, I can stick around for 5 or 10 minutes more after the recording ends. But once again, I'm Nick Rishwain, Vice President of Vice President of Client Relations and Development of Experts.com. Online marketing for expert witnesses and consultants. With me in the room now, Jeff Weinstein, Peter Kramer, and Jessica Hoerman. Thank you guys for being here. And
very cool.
Hey, Nick, thanks for putting this together, man. That was awesome. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.